Matthew Sandblom has bred and raced one Golden Slipper winner and owned another one, but he's passionate about making the breeding industry accessible to all mare owners. His Kingstar farm near Denman in New South Wales is just welcoming the first foals at the stunning Time to Reign. Unite and Conquer has his first yearlings about to hit the sales ring in 2023, and the bull points keep punching above their weight. Conor, every year we come here to Kingstar Farm and we see, more development and the trees have grown more and it's really taken shape as a real showpiece part of the Australian breeding industry.
It's a great spot here. I mean, we're only 5 minutes out of Denman and Kingstar has come a long way. We've only been going 5 or 6 years. We started off doing a lot of weanling sales and broodmare sales and we've managed to have great success there. We're now doing a lot more yearling sales as well, and we're building a new yearling barn. You might be able to hear the tractors behind us, but there's a new barn, new walker, new round yard. So we've really got some state-of-the-art facilities here, and that services us as a vendor and also us as, obviously, we've got the 4 stallions here as well.
Well, speaking of the stallions, we're focusing today on Time to Reign. I mean, just a beautiful looking stallion, isn't he? And I'm really, really pleased to see, as we expected, the way he's developed, since having his first season at stud. The back end, the lovely strong sort of shoulder. He's just pure masculinity, isn't he?
He is, yeah, and that goes a long way. He's grown, developed, filled out. I mean, you'd expect them to after a bit of time, and he had a year off the track before he came to stud. So he was already sort of maturing, and we could see what was going to be there, but he's developed into a magnificent animal. He is an absolute powerhouse, and luckily to say, I think his foals are the same.
Well, it's sire time for war. Obviously, we didn't see him stand for very long, but he did a good job as a young son of Schnitzel. But that speed, I mean, this is what we're seeing, is the most successful line, really, isn't it? Through Danehill, Reduced Choice, Schnitzel, etc. If you're looking at stallions in Australia.
Oh, it is. And look, we're lucky to tap into it. Time to Reign was obviously a very good 2-year-old from a very good sire line. As you mentioned, Time for War wasn't around for that long, but he certainly proved himself in the time he was with us. But the Stallions female line is also something that we take a lot of notice of, and obviously quite significant being a half to she-wolf rein. It's a very strong line, which that branch of it's gone over to Japan. She-wolf rein's had some great success over there with some beautiful foals and good sales success, and there's a couple running over there in the family that have won recently. So we're lucky to have Time to Reign here. Because he's got everything the Australians want. 2-year-old speed, precocity, he's big and strong. They are going to be good sales horses, but he's also now got a bit of an international pedigree, which is fantastic.
Time to Reign's going boldly in the lead from Tassort.
And he showed so much ability himself. I mean, he's got that sprinting, that speed in him, doesn't he?
Yeah, and you can't go past natural speed. I mean, sometimes you can get away with a 2-year-old race here or there, but he was up and going early, beating some very good horses, from Bivouac, yes, Cosmic Force, Dubious, the list goes on. He had very good time form ratings. He won the group races, the Silver Slipper, of course, and was a very good run in what was a bog track in the Golden Slipper, but he was right up there just off them in 5th. So Time to Reign was a genuine 2-year-old, and we're looking at his trials before he came back as a 3-year-old when he beat Very Elegant and a few others. So he looked like he was really going to go on with it as a 3-year-old. I know Gary Portelli was very excited, but unfortunately it's quite often the good ones that injure themselves. He had to retire prematurely, but what was bad luck for Gary was good luck for us.
Explain what you see when you look at Time to Reign, because he just has that bulk, and which we can see is obviously speed, but there's substance too.
Yeah, Time to Reign's got a massive amount of substance. Good bone, it's got size and scope, and he had the natural 2-year-old speed. We all saw that on the racetrack, but he had the development to go on with it. Certainly we didn't see that with the injury, but anyone who sees him in the flesh and live, whether it be when he was a 3-year-old winning those trials, when he was about to come back before injury, or even now in the paddock, he's bigger and stronger than your typical speedy squib, so to speak, and some stallions can be that and they can make their career on it, and sometimes it's a very successful career. Time to Reign has a lot of bulk to him. He's throwing a lot of bone and substance into the first couple of foals we've seen, and I think that will be what carries him through.
You have such a great support with Matthew Sandblom and you know, mares on the farm, and you obviously will support him again heavily this year. It's been very hard for people to actually come and see these stallions, so it's great to showcase him again on Bred to Win, but you know, you're obviously wanting more people to come and actually see him in the flesh.
Yeah, look, it was difficult during COVID. We retired him that year and obviously people couldn't get here. And we're also a new farm. A lot of people are unaware of where we are. You know, we're only 10 minutes from Coolmore, but if they don't drive past your gate, they don't know. So we're very accessible. We don't generally put on the big song and dance for the parades yet. I'm sure that will happen when one of these stallions kicks. But at the moment, our gate's always open. People can call us, come in, see the boys. You'll get as close to the stallions here as you will at any other farm. And you won't be disappointed because time to range bookings have been strong. Because the people who have come invariably book to him. He's pretty hard to resist when you get up next to him, get your hands on him. You can feel how strong he is, and we'll show you a couple of foals and anything else you want to see, but yeah, we'll give you the full experience.
Speaking of foals, we are seeing here the first time to rein foal here at Kingstar Farm, and this is from Shemert, this colt. Now, it's his first time out on the grass, so he's not actually been out. He's not really seen anything other than, you know, being in a box and just sort of strengthening up a bit. But it's just gorgeous seeing the natural will and desire to run, isn't it?
They can't help themselves when they're out there for the first time, yeah. So we foal down outside, foal down in the evening, obviously, most of them. We get the odd day foaler, but Shemert foaled down outside and produced the first TTR for us. Last year she had the honour of producing the first Unite and Conquer on the farm. This year the first TTR, so she goes in foal quickly and she's produced two lovely horses with her first two foals. But we move them into a box whilst they foal down outside. We give them a bit of time in the box with mum just to settle down, particularly with a young mare. Now Shemert's a very good mother. You can see from the footage here she's nice and relaxed. She's very chilled. This is her first time out of a box for 3 days, so sometimes she can go looking for her mates and run around, but she's nice and relaxed. And the foal, really, their first time out, they're seeing space they haven't seen before. They're feeling the grass probably only the second time. We had a lot of rain last night, so it's a little bit slippery. So when you tip them out for the first time in that environment, you can get a bit nervous. But this foal's got pretty good coordination. He's athletic. He seems to know where he's putting his feet. So we'll give him a bit of a spin and we'll take him back into the box for a bit of quiet time this afternoon. And he'll come out permanently tomorrow or the next day.
And Alira was saying the floor is like lava, you know, the shadows, they don't know. Just explain, when you're first handling a foal and bringing it out into an open area, they just don't know, you know, what's what. It's quite scary, isn't it? It takes a bit of people management to make sure that foal stays safe.
Yeah, it is. Look, the first time a foal goes out into a new environment, whether it be into a yard, into a large yard, into another mob with other mares and foals, crush, whatever it might be, it can be quite an experience and an ordeal for them. And every foal's different. Some of them take to it and they'll do whatever you want. Some of them cotton on to what you're asking very quickly. Others are quite wary, and some of them, their depth perception might not be what we're experiencing or what the others are, so they'll see shadows and really not want to step over them. They'll be very unsure of their footing going from grass to concrete for the first time or back and forth. Some are very sensitive to sound and hearing. It's a learning process for them, very much so. So you've just got to have a safe environment. You'll notice meshing on all our fencing here, so if they do make a mistake, they just bounce back. But you've just got to be very careful how you introduce new experiences to even these young foals. And that continues on when we wean, with rugs, bits in the mouth, the whole lot that most people would be familiar with. But you've really got to start that education process from day one or day 3 as we are today, first time out into a yard. It's a safe environment. It's done when it's not slippery, not too wet, and we give the foal a bit of time to adjust and then back into a box for a feed, and it can have a lie down in the safety there.
Looking at the other boys too, of course, Unite and Conquer. With his first yearlings, I mean, again, this is an exciting time to have the yearlings just starting to come through. How's he going, and you know, what are you seeing in those yearlings?
Exceptionally exciting time. Yeah, we were very, very pleased last year with his first foals. You never want to get too ahead of yourself, but they were exceptional. And they've just continued to grow. They've got good bone, correct legs, low maintenance, and they're well above average size. They are as strong as he is. Anyone who's looked at Unite and Conquer's shot when he was a yearling, he was a first foal, but he was built like a brick outhouse. And no surprise that he was up and going early for Gay, winning the Maribyrnong trial and then the Wild Magic Millions, and he unfortunately broke down in the Magic Millions when he was favourite. But an exceptionally fast, precocious 2-year-old, and that's what we're expecting of his yearlings. So his yearlings have just turned 1. We've done our survey x-rays and we're sweet there. We're very happy with the way they've turned out. So it's onwards and upwards. The yearling sales will give us their opinion and we'll start placing them from the Gold Coast down to Sydney, Adelaide, Melbourne. Find the best place for them. We might send a couple over to Perth, and I think they'll find some very, very good homes.
Raging Bull's holding his ground. Now he's lunging the outside.
And Bull Point too. I mean, he's just having a great season again, isn't he? Raging Bull, I guess, being, you know, the main flag bearer of the world's his oyster. He could go on and be really, really smart. But how's it going with him? Because he's such a beautiful horse by Fastnet Rock. He's had some really loyal people breeding to him. But again, as you know, as the years go on, it's hard to get people to come to these stallions. What's your big selling point in trying to get people to send a mare to Bull Point?
So originally we did get decent books and they grew year on year. Second year they almost doubled, third year. Fourth year he covered his biggest book. Now normally you see the stats go the other way for a stallion, so you know they're getting good types when the book grows second, third, fourth season. Now the selling point is his runners. He started this season, I think he's had 6 wins on the board already. We're only 2 weeks into the season and he's only had 13 runners. When you're getting stats like that with horses starting the new season on the front foot, getting in the winner's stall, the ball tends to roll. So we've had quite a few nominations or quite a few inquiries this week. We've had quite a few inquiries for his yearlings for next year. Can I buy them privately out of the paddock? So at the moment, it's his stats. Raging Bull's looking like being a very good horse, and you just need that headline horse for a horse like Bull Point. He's been around for 3 years on the track, but he's only had 68, 69 runners, and I think sometimes that gets lost. Some stallions will have that halfway through their second season. Bull Point only had small crops early on, but they're all running and they're all winning, and that's the biggest selling point you could ever wish for your stallion.
And you can see with the staff here, you know, everyone just seems really proud of Kingstar Farm. I know, you know, obviously Matthew, Sandblom and Wendy must really enjoy this being a developing property, as you say, but some wonderful bloodstock on it and everything year on year. It's a progression. It must be great to be part of.
Kingstar's grown rapidly and we're heading in the right direction. Adam and Alira have developed this property magnificently. Matthew's one of the biggest investors in the industry. He's extremely happy, so I think it's onwards and upwards for Kingstar from here.